I'm here with John, an engineer with Keith Huber. John, can you tell me about the vac truck we have sitting here next to us?
This truck is it's called the King Vac. It's got a 3,700 CFM liquid ring vacuum pump. It's got a 3,000 gallon tank, and it's mainly used for liquids and sludges. It can do some dry work. The chassis that it's sitting on is a Kenworth chassis. It's got a 20,000 pound front, 46,000 rear. It's got a 450 horsepower Cummins engine in it, manual transmission.
Can you tell me about the new design changes?
Absolutely. First of all, the first design change is our cyclone. We used to use old style cyclones that spun the air on the outside, and that's how we did our separating. The new design cyclones are our patented design, which is an inverted cyclone. It's got multi-stage mechanical separation inside of it. So that's one of the major design changes to the cyclone. Also, the cyclone used to go below the body line, and I used to have a butterfly valve mounted in the drain system. Well, we've had problems over the years with that valve getting material built behind it, and you couldn't open the valve and clean it out. So I took that valve out and I mounted a horizontally mounted piston valve on the bottom of it so you can clean it better. So it's easier to clean. That's one of the major design changes that I've done. Went into the lower suction assembly, which is part of this system. This system used to be, when you ran the auxiliary pressure pump, used to be pressurized. Well, on the new system, the pressure from the auxiliary pressure pump goes down up this hose right here and goes into the shutoff dome, but when we turn it on, I isolate these valves off, so this lower suction and the cyclone sees no pressure at all. So I'm able to put clean-out ports on it. There's one in the rear, one in the front, and one in the middle, so you can completely clean this line out when it gets clogged up with material. The auxiliary pressure pump used to be one size. It was an air-cooled 320 CFM vacuum pump. All the oil catch stuff or equipment was mounted inside the cabinet. I took all that equipment out and mounted a liquid-cooled 440 CFM, which is our standard Dominator pump, and installed the Dominator vacuum system too. It's got a moisture trap and an exhaust muffler. Within doing this, it's designed just like the Dominator, where I can use a small air-cooled pump or I can do a large liquid-cooled pump with whatever the customer needs. Major changes to the pump, minor changes really. Changed the shroud configuration. This particular picture, this one customer wanted this shroud, but all the standard ones don't have this lower shroud on it, so you can get to the pump and get to the serviceable areas of it, and you don't have to keep removing panels off of it. Another change, we took the tachometer from the front of the belt guard and moved it to the back. It's actually on a machine part that hits the back of the shaft. Changed the where you could view the oil levels, change those so you could view them from the driver's side of the truck. The main body of this, or the fenders, used to be a one-piece construction design. Well, it was hard for us to manufacture. It took a lot of time, so we changed that. It's actually four-piece. There's an individual piece here and then a piece back here. Also, we used to weld a flat bar that used to run full length, and you get a lot of waving with the heat draw. So now this is just folded over in a couple spots to get the strength back. The hydraulic oil reservoir that used to be mounted in here was really hard to access. Well, when I redesigned the cyclones, I ran out of room, so I mounted the hydraulic oil reservoir behind the passenger side cabinet so you can get to it easier. The controls for the King Vac used to be in a centrally located control panel, which all the electronics were mounted in the cabinet. Used to have some corrosion issues with it, and the hydraulics controls were up here as well. This picture doesn't depict it, but I have an electric control panel that all the electronics are mounted in a NEMA 4 enclosure, so you're not going to have any kind of water issues or corroding issues like that. And then the hydraulic controls are mounted inside the cabinet just like a Dominator is. So trying to standardize across our product lines is what I was shooting for. Let's see, and then the last thing would be the rear mounted. There's a control panel in the back that actually operate the vacuum system itself. It used to be 6 push-pulls, and we reduced it down to 3, basically made it a little simpler to operate. It still does the same functionality, but the vent, instead of venting the top of these cyclones for vent mode, we're actually venting the pump, which helps the when you go into like emergency mode or whatever, you shut all the air off going to the pump. It started to cavitate the pump and damage the pump. So there's a new valve that's underneath the shroud that goes directly into the pump. All in all, these design changes, this truck came out in 1986, a year I graduated high school, so it's been around for a long time. But over the years, we've redesigned and made different modifications. But in the last 6 months, all of these design changes are 10 years in the making, from talking to customers and talking to our employees who actually manufacture this and try to get the best truck out in the market.
And how does this redesigned truck exemplify the new Keith Huber?
Building the same quality truck, but putting more improvements into the product, the way we manufacture it, with the new facilities that we have, laser cutting and all of the technology that Holmac's bringing to the table.
Sounds like you have a really great quality truck that a lot of customers can benefit from. So where can people find out more information about it?
You call our 1-800 number. It's 800-334-8237 or 33-HUBER. You go to our website, keithhuber.com, and
thanks, John.
just call.